Quick question, when you see somebody, when you acknowledge somebody, do you nod up or do you nod down? Which one do you do? Does it really matter? The answer is yes, because one's a power move, the other one is a sign of submission. So when you nod down, this is a sign of submission, of compliance. It shows that you view the person you're engaging with as higher level than you. We see this throughout history, throughout cultures, where people would actually be in the presence maybe of royalty, of a noble person, and they would genuflect, they would bow, they would lower their heads. The upper nod, on the other hand, is much more powerful. It's casual. It simply sends the signal, I acknowledge you as a peer, as another human being. Now, what about confidence? Well, for me, this is synonymous with the way I'm using the word alpha. When I'm talking about alpha in today's video, I'm not talking about alpha male like a wolf pack. What I'm talking about here is a confident man who knows who he is, knows what he stands for, and understands his capabilities. Now, if you don't have self-confidence, the tips I'm laying out in today's video, they're not going to be very useful to you because you need to have that confidence as a building block. Now, one of the most common ways to lose your confidence is as you age, you lose your ability to do certain things. And one of those things, getting an erection. Gentlemen, erectile dysfunction affects 52% of men over the age of 40. And the worst part here, 75% of those men do nothing about it. An easy way to get treatment? Check out Roman, the sponsor of today's video. And what I love about these guys is they have made it incredibly easy for you to be able to chat with a doctor and deal with your issue. Gents, getting started is simple. Go to getroman.com/RMRS, then complete an online visit. If your doctor decides that treatment would be appropriate, they can prescribe genuine medication that can be delivered in discreet packaging right to your door with free 2-day shipping. In a nutshell, with Roman, you get the medical care for ED that you need from the comfort and privacy of your own home. No awkward waiting rooms, embarrassing conversations, everything delivered to your door in discreet packaging. You get the treatment you need. To get started, gents, use the link down in the description. GetRoman.com/RMRS for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. The next alpha male body trick, maintain the right amount of eye contact. So this is based off a 2012 study coming out of Michigan State University. They found that when you're speaking, 50% of the time you want to maintain eye contact. When you're listening, 70% of the time you want to maintain eye contact. Because if you go really low, let's say 5 to 10%, people are going to think that you're hiding something. They're going to find you less likely to believe whatever it is you're saying. If you go really high, 95, 100% eye contact, people are going to feel you're overpowering, overbearing. Now, how does this work? Let's get into the specifics. So when you walk into a room, if you're going to engage someone in conversation, you want to make eye contact as soon as possible. Once you've made that eye contact and you start the conversation, you want to maintain the eye contact for about 3 to 5 seconds, probably erring on the high side. And I do recommend, if you're going to err on any side, try to make more eye contact than you think you need to, because I would much rather be viewed as an intense person than someone that they can't trust. And that's what you're looking to do, is to make this natural. Now, depending on your country, your culture, this could change up. And guys, I'd love to hear down in the comments where you're watching this video from and what the rules are in your culture when it comes to eye contact. Now, what about when it comes to ladies? What can we learn from alpha males when it comes to eye contact? First up, don't break the eye contact. I have done this whenever you see a beautiful woman and you're intimidated, and what do? You look down. How to get over this fear? You need to practice making eye contact with everyone. Then whenever you make eye contact with her, you're going to be able to maintain it. And this is what alphas do. They maintain it for 2 solid seconds. That may sound incredibly short, but that is a long time for a lot of guys who have never done this, because you maintain that eye contact and you show the interest. You also can maybe move your head, but maintain the eye contact and then end it with a smile. And speaking of smiles, alpha males know how to leverage their power. Now, here's the thing about smiles. There's research out there that says you shouldn't smile much, that women find a solemn man more attractive. There's also research that says you should smile a lot more because it makes you happy on the inside, therefore you're more attractive. What I'm going to say is smile, but strategically smile. Know when to give it. Know when someone is looking at you, you've made that eye contact, then use the smile to disarm, because that's what a smile does. Whenever you make eye contact, yeah, you can just nod, or you can nod with a smile. You can pass on the happiness that is in your face. It's natural. We've done this since kids. Whenever we see somebody else smile, we smile. And what happens whenever we smile? We feel better. So you can pass on that feeling, that good feeling, and that's a good thing to pass on, and alpha males know this. The next alpha male body trick to steal is to freeze. No, I'm not talking about stopping everything, but don't move around the room. Instead, let people come to you. Now you can strategically do this. When you walk into a room, you can choose a location, you can choose the area in which people will naturally come to you and you won't have to move. But what you want to avoid here is being that butterfly that jumps around and is trying to engage with everyone. And yes, you may feel I talk to a lot of people, but are you actually sending off a signal of strength? No, you're not. So you want to slow things down. And speaking of slowing things down, yes, you want to take your sweet time. You want to be slow and deliberate in your movement. You don't want to be jittery. You don't want to be jumping all over the place. So this point's coming out of a 2018 study coming out of the Journal of Social, Cognitive, and Affective Neuroscience. So in this study, they looked at people's gestures and body movements, and they saw were those indicators of a person's mental state. How do people see others when it comes down to if they move, if they're really nervous, if they move around? What would you think of that person? Something is going on with that person's mind, and that's exactly what they found. When someone didn't move around, when someone looked calm, we assumed their mental state was one of being calm, of being in control. And that's what you want to go for as an alpha. To make this a little bit more clear, let me use an analogy from nature. We've got the hummingbird versus the hawk. Now the hummingbird bounces around, very nervous-like, always moving, very jittery, and that's what we're going to perceive its mental state, if it has a mental state, versus a hawk. It sits on top of a tree, looks around, doesn't move much, but when it spots something it wants, it goes right for it. The point, alphas aren't jittery or reactionary. They may look slow, but that's simply because they're looking at everything around them, and when they need to take action, they are deliberate and they take it quickly. Next up, let's talk body language. So when an alpha walks into a room, what he doesn't do is try to hide in the corner. He doesn't go in there and just make himself smaller. No, he walks in and feels, hey, I own this place. I'm going to find a place to sit. I am going to be open. I'm going to be relaxed, and I'm going to take up a good amount of space because he walks in like he owns the place. And yes, you got to pay attention to manners. You need to pay attention to other people, but if you can, go in there and actually be relaxed. That right there sends the signal that you are in charge, or at least you are confident and you know what's going on. So what to do with these? What to do with your hands? I'll tell you what an alpha does not do. He doesn't put his hands in his pockets, because when you put your hands in your pockets, people trust you less. That right there, for some reason, it's just we need to see people's hands. As every sergeant major in the Marine Corps can tell you, whenever you put your hands in the pockets, somewhere in some foreign country, a kitten dies. So you don't want to be doing that, guys. And a way to break the habit, just simply carrying a pen in your hands, especially when you're around other people. You can switch it to the other, simply do that fist bump or the elbow bump, whatever people are doing nowadays. Point being is find a way to break that habit because it sends the wrong signal. Now, what about watches? Do watches matter? And I know some people say that 98% of people do not even notice that you're wearing a watch. I would agree with that. But here's the thing, that 2% who do notice watches, they are oftentimes in the hiring decision. They are the gatekeepers to where you want to go. So I'm going to say, yeah, a watch matters, especially if you're 55 years old. You're looking for a job in the tech industry and you want to show, hey, yeah, I've got the latest Apple Watch. I understand technology. Or if you're a young business owner and you want to have a little bit of flash, or if you're going into a company that's very conservative, but you know that the people making decisions, they're into watches. You want to go with something that's classic, something that's been around. And guys, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. Some great options out there, whether you go Seiko, Orient. Point being is watches do send signals, and understand what they are and leverage them to your advantage. Now, what about your walk? Do you have a power walk? Do you walk with confidence? Well, guys, find out how to walk like a man in this video right here. I had a lot of fun with it. Made it a while back. It's a good one, and I think you'll enjoy to learn the tips and tricks of how to walk, yeah, like a man.